Thank you for having me here. It's so special to be here in Georgia and with these wonderful people. Basically, I'm a strategy director at David Madrid. This is a little bit of visual identity of me inside of David logo. I used to work with trends as well, so I have my career with creative advertising, independents, big ones. And also, I work a little bit at WGSN, which is a UK trends company. And one of the things that I missed the most when I was working with trends is it's super exciting. It's very in touch with culture, but they lack another step. It's kind of like when I was reading the reports that we did, it was like, okay, so if I brief creatives with this thing, they will not know what to do. So I proposed to do a trend report that was not a regular one, was a little bit more into pop culture. And I created this kind of document for David that we usually do for our internal clients and prospects. So basically, the trends that I'm going to present here are trends that are relevant to the creative world. So we are not aiming to encapsulate everything. It's more about things that will impact our culture. So it's not going to be things that is happening in medicine or it's going to be happening in engineering. It's more focused on the things that can impact as a whole. And most importantly, are trends that help us get intimate with culture, help us to be more in the pulse of culture, and then understanding a little bit of today's zeitgeist, which is basically a fancy word for the context that we live today. No, trends is not a crystal ball, so we know that things can happen and things change, but they're a guide. They are a guide to understand a little better the context that we live in, and the impact that this context will have and will keep evolving throughout the future. Something that is super special and relevant in the world today, in the world that it's overwhelmingly changing all the time. There is a quote from Chris Dornland, which is a visual artist, that he says that we are living this in the middle of a tech revolution. So everything is very crazy because the future is not fully revealed. So having this navigation to understanding culture would help brands and people understand better their consumers and better their strategy as a business and as brands. One thing we know is that change is constant and it's becoming faster and faster. No wonder when we look at pop culture, so when we look at films, we are seeing more and more a sour-sweet approach to reality. First example, I think Barbie is really spot on. It is a sour-sweet approach to gender. And in the movies, most of times, like you kind of laugh and then you're laughing, oh my God, this is so fucked up that I'm laughing about this because this is so wrong. But at the same time, it creates bonding. And one of the quotes that I love this character that he says is, I am a man with no power, and am I a woman? And you kind of like laugh at it, and it's like, that's just wrong. And it has this sour-sweet aesthetics to it, the Barbie world, but it still punches you in the face a lot of times. Asteroid City, Wes Anderson, another completely different approach, but still has this Wes Anderson aesthetics, and it questions a lot about the existence. One of my favorite part of the movie, it's an extraterrestrial getting on the planet Earth, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here, and then he just go back up. And I think one of the dialogue that Scarlett Johansson have about questioning her own existence is, you feel different, and she answers to him, I don't feel anything at all. And a sour-sweet to relationships, so I feel like, as well, Saltburn, it has this pretty aesthetics, and it's very raw film, like really hard to digest. And it has this kind of approach of relationships and even social media, people pretending to be what they're not. So one of the quotes is, I'm sorry my performance wasn't good enough for you. As you can see, we could add tons of films here. I think Poor Thing is one of my favorite that's not in here, but as you can see, pop culture is reflecting a lot our need to smooth this harshness of reality without us getting alienated from it. So Barbie, Asteroid City, Poor Thing, and goes on Saltburn. tells you the truth, but it has like an aesthetic to it in a way that it gives you a little distance as well. It's twisted lefts with a paradoxical honesty that put this gloss into reality. It's no wonder that the surrealism aesthetics for brands, for films, for magazines are coming back in trend, because it's a way to tell the truth, to touch all of the things that we are living throughout this moment, but with a safe distance. So finding a creative way to play in this sour-sweet spectrum would be your superpower. So we cannot be fully optimistic, but if we are fully pessimistic as well, we won't change things. And I'm gonna go into 4 different things. 1, it's society, because we live in society, it's important to acknowledge that. 2, culture, pop culture, what it's shaping culture. 3, consumption. And 4, the planet, because without the planet, there's no trends. So going to society, and it's very, very direct to the sour-sweet approach, is the cultural trend of soften the harshness. And it's the first one because it's also the color palette of the year, which is this peachy pink. I forgot the name of the color, but it's this peachy pink. But not only the color itself, when you look at Pantone website, you see that the way that the brands are executing it, it has the color, the softness in the color, but on the texture as well. So the materials they use are soft. It kind of like gives you a grandma vibe, a cozy vibe, which is something that we pretty much need today. For me, it's not even the best example, but because Nike, it's the brand that says, just do it, having a campaign using this glossy aesthetics, surrealistic aesthetics, and saying, have a beautiful run, or rest as hard as you race, for me, it shows that we are in a turning point as well, from a performance culture to a culture that acknowledges that we need a little bit softness as well to not crack. Provocation here. Can innovation play a role in humanizing the world around us? The second one, and I absolutely love this one, it's related to self-deprecating humor. And we know that somehow, brands that tell the truth, that are imperfect, that are more open, that are with less bullshit, and I could say like Liquid Death, for example, of the previous talk, it's a great example, because they don't take themselves too seriously, and somehow, in an ironic way, they gain trust. Because if you say, I'm perfect, I am the best, like it's like your mother saying you're great, you know? People don't buy. If you say, hey, I have my things, but I'm also good, it generates trust. It makes people trust you more as well. One example, it's HP, which I love it. Like if you had an experience with a printer before, printer sucks. Like they're always out of everything. They don't have ink, mostly when you need it. And the campaign that HP did was embracing that printer sucks and saying that it's made to be less hated. They could say, oh, I have a printer that you won't hate, and it's not true. So saying that made to be less rated is a really, really cool way to talk about, in the end, product superiority. Another, I don't know if it will pass. Okay. I don't think the video is here, but it's a Netflix campaign that we did at David, which was about embracing all sides of you. So instead of saying we have the best shows, the insight here is we have really, really cool stuff and cool cinema series and etc. But we also have Love is Blind and shitty reality shows. And it's okay for you to like black and white movie and also like shitty reality shows like Too Hot to Handle. So doing social listening, we found that very, very funny. And it was a way to touch people and relate to people in how they consume Netflix. So you can be both, you know? And it was really, the whole campaign was really about it. Here, translating it Spanish to English is you can go out to a party like Emily Paris and come back like a Demogorgon. So the whole campaign was like playing a lot with different titles and the contradictions that we all have inside of us. So the provocation here is, can being honest with our limitations help us to better convey our attributes and to better connect with people around us? Going towards culture. The first trend in culture is sci-fi beauty, and a data that, for me, it was mind-blowing. Maybe for the Gen Z here, won't be, but 84% of Gen Z report that their physical style is somewhat related to their avatar style. So it's not that I'm creating an avatar that looks like me. It's like I am shaping my physical self to look like my avatar. And for me, this was like, whoa, you know? It was mind-blowing because, well, when I was doing avatars, the younger side of me, it was completely me trying to do a cute version of myself. So it kind of has this culture clash as well. This was in Paris Fashion Week, so all of this aesthetics on the cyborg skin. And the way that this trend evolved, and this is a good trend to see how things evolve. So it started with, It started with a hashtag that was perfect skin, and then it evolved to glass skin, and then it evolved to porcelain skin, and then evolved to cyborg skin, which is basically, I don't want to look perfect, I just want to look like something else. You know, it's people playing as well with the aesthetics, and it's fine not to look human. The provocation here is, how can we give tools to people that allow them to bring remarkable to the mundane? Second one, related about culture, fake new real world. There's in every trend and every technology, there is a good and positive side, and also there's a bad and dark side of it. But focusing on the good side, AI and technology helps us embrace a lot imagination. So it is a great tool for us to break the barriers of reality and play with it, us creativity. So it kind of like bridge digital and physical experiences. This is a project that was created from art director Andrea Garcia. It was a side project in the agency. She was just there having pizza and having fun. And basically, she's calling humans of AI, like it has humans of New York and humans of tons of places. And she asked for the copywriter to write a story. And she basically recreated that story, that person on AI. And it's person that it feels and looks like real people. And it's based on a fake story. So she created tons of stories and people and characters playing with how a story can be converted into a person. This also, for me, it's a great example. It was from 2 years ago. And this is a festival in Portugal, a music festival in Portugal, that they were taking the festival back to nature. And what they did was combine AI, combine the DJs with pieces of nature. So all of the aesthetics of the event and all of the aesthetics of the headline was not just the photo of the DJ they're playing. It was this mix and match. And you also could play with yourself in there. There was a bot that you could play and do the versions of yourself, bridging with birds and trees and butterflies and wolves. So it was very, very a creative way to gain attention of their headlines and gain attention as well that the place they're at also changed the vibe of the festival. The provocation here is, how can AI help us break the barrier from reality and innovation? So third one, it's related to consumption. And The cultural trend here is buying companionship, and for me, it's really hard to understand, and it's a little bit her becoming reality. And this was an article on Days, and it was like a really big article about people saying how AI is helping them to treat mental and loneliness, mental health issues and loneliness as well. Replica, romantic AI. So basically is an AI which interacts a lot with you and says that misses you and gets angry at you and had all of these facial expressions. And another one, but a little bit sweeter one, it's a film called Robot Dreams. It's a Spanish movie that I think it went to the Oscar and as an animation. And it's basically the relationship of a dog with a robot friend, which I think it translates a lot our relationship with technology, our relationship with AI, and how we are in this midst of confusion and revolution. So the provocation here is, can tech help us solve the loneliness feeling when we bridge real and intimate connections? Last one in consumption, and this one is pretty special because we did a campaign on it. So it was something that we mapped internally and provoked Dove Unilever to create a brief on it. Basically, there was a trend all over the place on TikTok, which was kids from 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, talking about their skin routine. And while they were doing that, they were putting chemicals that were not for their skin, into their faces. It was something that it had a lot of repercussion about it. People like showcasing stores of Sephora that was like a little bit ruined because kids would keep playing with the product itself. But most of all, it was a problem because kids shouldn't be doing skincare at that age, and they shouldn't be putting chemicals, retinol, and all of talking about peeling when you are 5 years old. So this is the age like that you can see. And for example, I don't know if you know Drunk Elephant. It's a famous brand, and it's very playful, and it talks to millennials, but it also talks to kids. So there is a responsibility here from brands as well on how can we avoid that, because it's too much. And this is the campaign that I was talking about, is the Face of 10. Basically, we talk about what skincare should look like when you're 10 years old. It's face paint, it's stickers, it's glitter. It shouldn't be retinol, it shouldn't be peeling, it shouldn't be acid hyaluronic, I don't know even how to pronounce it. It should be fun stuff. They should be playing, not talking about skin, because this has consequences as they grow up as well. So the provocation is, can companies help parents fight against this fast-forward mode? Again, not every trend will be for every single brand. We talked that a little bit earlier on the panel that we had. But if you are a brand about beauty, and if you want to make a stand, this is an important issue to address. Planet. The first one is about extinct life. So people are using things that are extinct or might be extinct as a way to gain attention, to showcase what we might miss. And one of the cases that I bring here is a case from Rio, which this place is beautiful, but it smells horribly. And they created a perfume that was what it used to smell in the past, which is like sea, beachy kind of vibe, for us to understand that if we keep polluting the world, we will keep losing amazing stuff that we have. Better, this is a climate store. They're very ironic. They're very self-deprecating. It's a really, really cool brand. If you work with sustainability, or if you just want to have fun looking at cool brands online, this brand you should look at. And basically, the founder of Better, he says that Earth has a marketing problem because we are approaching it in a wrong way. We should kind of like use humor to put the heat down, literally, and also in the planet. And he plays a lot with sustainability issues. So after your favorite beach disappear, memories of a clean air, which has this sour sweet kind of vibe that we were talking about earlier. So the provocation here is, can curiosity be the doorway to collective action towards sustainability? So when we're talking about society, we are talking about a sour-sweet reality. When we're talking about culture, we are talking about a sour-sweet vibe. When we're talking about consumption, we are talking about the sour-sweet spending. And when we're talking about sustainability, we are talking about sour-sweet actions. Sour-sweet gives comfort within the discomfort. It makes us awake without paralyzing ourselves. So let's unleash all of the flavors that we have to add. Because in a sour-sweet world, there's no space for vanilla flavors. And that's it. Thank you, everyone.